Hey there, hey there, hey there. How are you? Welcome. No, don't worry, you are not lost. And I am not a stranger. I know who I am. My cousin, though, over there in the corner knows who I am also. And don't worry, you are going to know who I am. But let me tell you how you got here. You were kicked out of Bizarre World. You were punted over the Twilight Zone. Somebody kicked you right in the ass. Then you drove down a little bit and you picked up a girl.
I love it! You guys are so great!
Then you hit the fork in the road and took the ride
Ding, ding.
and rolled right into the most offensive church this side of the universe. The party pit. So, what we do here in this most amazing place, we read this trilogy. And this trilogy is called God Said. What did he say? He said something. Haha. Yeah, God said. Because God did not fucking say that. Fight me. He did not say it. But we are on part 2 of the trilogy. We are on Jesus, comma, who? Question mark. Yeah, it's book 2 of this trilogy. And we are on section John, chapter 20. And I think there's only we should be done with this today. And then we can go back to the Old Testament. Thank God for small miracles. Right, because I want to be in the Old Testament so bad. But we are on the part after Jesus dies, right before we get to naked zombie Jesus, which is the best part, especially the way this book describes it. Well, this section of this book, Jesus, comma, question mark, who? No, Jesus, comma, who, question mark. We're on the naked zombie part, which is the best part. Just want to say that. Naked zombie Jesus is the best. And then we get to go back to the Old Testament. But I do have something to say. Tomorrow I have my big appointment. And then 5 days after, no, I think it's 4 days and a wake up, I get my bottom teeth pulled. So I might be gone for like a day or two. I don't know. Because I'm not sure how to talk without teeth. So I don't know. It might be a little while before I get back. After we're finished with this book, I'm gonna have to take some days off. And I'm gonna hate every second of it. But I wish there were other people here so I didn't have to make this announcement more than once. More than once. Once. No. I don't want to have to make this announcement a bunch of times because I wanted everybody to know that I was going to be gone for like a week or two until my teeth, you know, do whatever they do and my mouth pain stops. So I want that to be really fast because I don't have nothing if it wasn't for this. So, man. But sacrifice breeds results. So let's see. Anyway, so let me tell you, this book that we're reading is God's unofficial biography, as read by yours truly, the most wonderful and the bestest saint of awesome, your super son sage, Saint Nikki Gilligret. Yeah. So, welcome. Hey, I love you guys too. But let's take off our Devon Dudley inspired sunglasses and get rolling with the story. Are we ready? Okay. Now, on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came early to the tomb while it was still dark and saw the stone already taken away. And so she ran, came to Simon Peter, uh, and to the other disciple when Jesus, oh, wait, she ran to Peter and the other disciple that Jesus loved. It's not John, it's Lazarus, the only person in Das Bible that Jesus, it's described that Jesus loved. And Jesus actually cried for him. His name is Lazarus, not John. It's Lazarus, not John. And whoever tells you it's John does not know what the fuck they're talking about because it's Lazarus. That shit really fucking pisses me off. I don't know if it pisses anybody else off, but that surely boils my fucking blood to the fucking maximum degree of boiling blood because the shit fucking makes me so mad. It's written in plain English, right? Mary and Martha come to Jesus and they say, the one whom you love is ill, Lazarus. And then Jesus tells his disciples, yeah, Lazarus is assed out and we're going to go wake him up. And then the disciples are like, dude, he's so grouchy. I'm not waking him up. And Jesus is like, he's dead, you idiots. And they're like, oh, shit, hell no. And we stayed for 3 extra days. Man, it's fucking nuts. And Jesus is like, I need to prove a point. So I let the guy I love die so I could prove a point. But anyway, they get there and Jesus finds his tomb and he cries for him there. Jesus loved and cried for Lazarus. So anybody who tells you it doesn't beloved, there's no such fucking person. No such fucking person. His name is Lazarus, not John. Tell me if I ain't fucking mad about that shit, man. I'm heated. I need a glass of milk. I'm spitting. Ah, okay. Well, okay. I'm not mad as so much as my blood boils because people really think this is a cat called John. But the only person that is described as the one you love is Lazarus. His name is Lazarus. Okay. Anyway. Okay. And so she came to Peter and Lazarus, and they said, "They have taken away the Lord out of the tomb, and I don't know where they laid him." And Peter therefore went forth, and the other disciple, and they were going to the tomb, because for some reason Mary would lie about that. Mary lied about that. They didn't really take Jesus out of the tomb. Mary just went and told them that for the fun of it. Mary's like, you know what I'll fucking do? I'll go waste everybody's time. Let me go waste everybody's time. So they went there. And the other disciple ran faster than Peter and came to the tomb first. And stooping down and looking in, he saw the wrappings that what Jesus was in. So the whole wrap outfit Jesus was wrapped in. They saw that on the floor. Okay. Okay. See it on the floor. And the face cloth that had been on his head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. So the other disciple who had come first to the tomb entered then also, and saw and believed. For as yet they did not understand. He must rise again from the dead. I'm 420, by the way. I want to say I'm 420. Okay. It's just one of those things. So the disciples went away and ran to their own homes. But Mary was standing outside the tomb, weeping. And so as she wept, she stooped in to look in the tomb. And behold, two angels in white were sitting, one at the end and one at the feet, where Jesus had been lying. And they said, "What's up, dude?" And she was like, "Because Jesus, and I don't know where he is." And when she had said this, she turned around and beheld Jesus standing there, although she did not know that it was Jesus. And Jesus said to him, "Woman, why are you crying?" Why are you crying? Whom are you seeking? And she's like, "Seek and destroy." That's not what she said. She thought it was a gardener, and she said, "If you took him, tell me where he's at, and I'll take him." And then Jesus was like, "Mary." And she turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabbi." And Jesus said, "Stop clinging to me." Okay, move on. Move on. You're not gonna die. Move on from me. You can find a better man. And she said, "No, shut up. There's nobody better than you. Be quiet." And Jesus is like, "Yeah, well, you are right about that. But still, stop clinging to me because I need to die. It's like a whole thing, and I need you to stop clinging. I got shit to do." Okay. Uh, And then, but anyway, go tell my brethren and say to them, I ascend to my Father and your Father, my God and your God. Mary Magdalene came announcing to the disciples, I have seen the Lord. And he said things to me, and here they are. When, therefore, it was evening on the first day of the week, and when the doors were shut, the disciples, and the doors were shut where the disciples were, because they were scared of these terrible ass God people. And Jesus came and stood in their midst. So he's like on the table, like, peace. We have good time. And he's like bloody and naked, and he smells like stuff. And he's like, peace, butt ass naked and covered in blood from his head to his toes. Because remember, he was beat up right before he died. And then they stuck that thing in him, you know, the spear of destiny. You know, when they were dancing in Jesus' blood and stuff at the bottom of the cross, you know, that's what they were doing. And anyway, so he has a little fish gill on the side of him right there, but it's also squirting blood and water and whatnot. So Jesus is standing there with blood and water squirting out of his side, holding up peace sign on their table. And when he had said this, he was like, finger fuck my man hand holes. Finger fuck my hand holes. Right. That is a thing. And the disciples, therefore rejoiced when they saw the Lord. Jesus said to them again, peace. As the Father sent me, so I send you. And when he had said this, he breathed. He shot some dragon breath in all their faces. He's like, so Jesus goes around spitting on people and breathing his dragon breath all over the place. I can't even take life. Why is this like this? No one knows. He's like, yeah, peace be with you. Smell my breath. Yeah. But he said, receive the Holy Spirit, just don't smell it. Look, it's a thing. If you forgive the sins of many, their sins have been forgiven. If you retain the sins of any, they have been retained. And Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples were saying to them, dude, Jesus came, and he's like, unless I can finger fuck his manhole or his handholds, I do not believe you. And they're like, really? Really? That's what you want to do. You want to stick your finger in his handhold. That somehow seems really gross because he was already really bloody before. So why would you want to make him even more dirty? Why would you want that on? Look, that's how you get the plague. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but that's how you get the plague. You really want to fuck with this dead guy. Look, you got problems, dude. And after 8 days, again, his disciples were inside, and Thomas was with them. And Jesus came, the doors having been shut, and he stood in their midst and was like, finger fuck my handles. Ha ha. Yeah, we're having a good time. And Jesus is still all bloody. He's naked and he's bloody. Okay. He's naked and bloody and he's showing off his hand holes. Like he's holding up the peace sign, like, peace be with you, my hand hole. Like that's a thing that he's going around telling people. Okay. And then he said to Thomas, touch my hand hole. Go ahead. Stick your finger in it. Right. Like, uh, okay. Yeah. And Thomas answered and was like, oh my God. And Jesus was like, because you seen me, you believed. Yet there are some who have not seen me and believe. Many other signs, therefore, Jesus also performed in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book. But these have been written so you may believe that Jesus is the Christ and the SOG, and that believing you may have life in his name. Interesting, pretty interesting. Okay, so yeah, Jesus breathed on all of them that morning breath. And he's like, this smelly shit right here that came out of my mouth, that's the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Because it's 420, right? So you know Jesus has got that breath right now. And you know when you smell it, it's dry mouth with like weed and cigarettes. It's really foul smelling, you know? You know people with breath like that. It's like, and that's what Jesus blew in their face. Oh, not to mention he's dead, you know, so he's probably, no, because in the prophecy it said, no bone will be broken. No bone will be broken. And something else. There was some, oh, then no rot will reach his bones. So Jesus doesn't even have like dead people breath. It's serious dragon breath. Yeah, I do know that, Ricky. But the dragon breath I'm talking about is a real foul dragon breath. Morning breath, you know? Like when your mouth is all dry and you just wake up and you can smell your own breath. That's dragon breath. And it always comes at the most inappropriate times. Like you'll be talking to somebody and then all of a sudden you'll smell your own breath and it's like, oh, I apologize to whoever I was just talking to. Man, the most inopportune moments. I remember I got it one time I was in physical therapy and then I could just start smelling my own breath and I had to make any excuse to leave because it was bad. Have you guys ever had that most fucked up shit happen? Like you're talking to somebody and then all of a sudden you can smell your own breath and you're like, ooh, I forgot to brush my teeth. I always feel bad for people, but that has happened to me. Like somebody talks to me with dragon breath and it's real hard. No, I'm saying that no, I'm saying he breathed dragon breath on them. No, there is uh it's so funny, but it's worse when it's beer and cigarettes and weed. And then all of a sudden they get cotton mouth. So it smells like the most disgusting beer ever. Because, the scent of alcohol is just gross to begin with. But then put the dragon breath on top of it. It's like, ugh. Can't even do it. Oh, man. So, you guys, I want to thank you for coming. We are finishing this book today, and that's really cool because tomorrow I've got that big appointment with Social Security, and that should be fun. Dragon, where'd you go? I guess he's gone. Wait, no, we gotta finish this book first. There's one chapter left. And it's not even that long. It's like 2 pages long. And then we'll pray and do the outro. Right? Is that cool? Yeah, we can't pray for Satan though. Because I don't know. I don't know if I would want Satan to be forgiven by God. Because evil never changes. Wait, you're leaving? Wait, where are you going? Why are you leaving? We got one chapter left. Literally one chapter. That's all we have. And then we're done with the story of Jesus for the rest of my life. If I could go, and I say that every time, like I want to be done with this story, but I do. Okay. Who prays for Satan? Who? in the 18th century, it's had the common humanity. Because Satan's not a sinner. Satan does everything he wants to because he can. And we haven't got into the Old Testament, the part in the Old Testament where I think God brings Satan on purpose to fuck with Ahab and Jehoshaphat because he tells the angel, I need someone to confuse this man, to make all the prophets tell him to go to war, right? And the one angel's like, I can do it. And then God's like, what's your plan? And he's like, this is my plan. And then the next thing you know, there's Satan. We haven't got there yet, but we'll get there. Just stick with me. You are the whole reason, CNA, drunken wizard, that I'm even reading the story of Jesus, because you always ask me questions about the story of Jesus. Well, the questions are answered here in the story of Jesus, but you didn't even stay for it, and my feelings are totally hurt about that. But you're here for the end of it, and I suppose that matters. So, thank you, but I'm never reading this book again after today. Okay. All right, here we go. Last chapter. Um, After these things, Jesus manifested himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and he manifested himself in this way. They were together, Peter and Thomas, Nathaniel, James and John, and two others of his disciples. So we know it was Lazarus and probably Barnabas or whatever his name is. And then Peter's like, okay, I'm going fishing. And they said, okay, we're going too. So they went out and got into the boat, and that they might catch something. No, wait, what? And they went out and got into the boat. And that night they caught something. But when it was day, no, but when the day was breaking, Jesus stood on the beach. Yet the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. And Jesus this said, children, do you not have any fish? And they were like, no. He said, cast the net on the right side of the boat and you will find a catch. So they casted therefore, but they were not able to haul it in because of the great number of fish. Wait, wait. Okay. And that disciple whom Jesus loved, Lazarus, said to Peter, it is the Lord. And so when Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put his outer garment. Hold on. His disciple, but the other disciple. Okay. Wait. And Peter heard that it was the Lord. He put his outer garment on, for he was stripped for work. Yeah, the Greeks say that too. and threw himself into the sea. But the other disciples came in the little boat, for they were not far from the land, but it was like 100 yards, dragging the net full of fish. And so when they got out upon the land, they saw a charcoal fire ready, laid, and fish lays placed on it and bread. And Jesus said, "Bring some of the fish." And Simon Peter went up and drew the net. Okay. Then Peter went up and drew the net to the land, full of large fish, 153. And although there were so many in the net, it was not torn. And Jesus said, "Come on, come and eat." And none of the disciples ventured to question him, "Who are you?" knowing it was the Lord. And Jesus took some of the bread and gave it to them, and the fish likewise. Now, this was the third time Jesus was manifested to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. And when, okay, and when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Peter, "Do you love me more than these?" And he said, "No, because I'm a coward and I denied you." Oh, that's not what he said. He said, "You know that I love you." And he said, "Tend my lambs." No, as a matter of fact, the first thing he did was kill them. And Jesus said a second time, "Simon, do you love me?" And he said, "You know I don't, because I ran from you. I said I had all the strength in the world, but when it came down to it, I ran from you, God the third. So no, I don't love you, and I know I'm not getting into heaven because I denied you a bunch of times." Okay. I said, "Tend my lambs." "Yes, you know I love you." He said, "Shepherd my sheep." No, the first thing he did was kill them. And then he said a third time, "Simon, do you love me?" And Simon's like, "You know I don't, because I literally turned my back on you." That's not what he said. He said, "You know I do." And then he's like, "Tend my sheep." Because listen, I'm telling you, when you were younger, you used to gird yourself and walk wherever you wished. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will gird you and bring you where you don't want to go. Because Jesus knows he's lying. Now, this he said, identifying what kind of death he would glorify God. Turns out this bitch motherfucker crucified himself upside down because he wanted to feel fucking special because he knows he's going to hell. Fuck that guy. He does not love Jesus. The first second he could deny him, he did. That's why I got that stupid fucking punishment. And then he wants to crucify himself upside down because I cannot be like the Lord. No, it's because you literally turned your back on the Lord and you feel bad for it. That's why. Because you know you are a traitor. So, yes, yes, stick it to him, Jesus. Stick it to him. And when he had spoken this, he said to him, "Follow me." And Peter, okay, turned around, saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following him. That's Lazarus, not John. Don't let anybody tell you it's John because it's most definitely 100% Lazarus. And you can tell it's Lazarus by what Jesus says here in just a second. Okay. Okay. Peter, turning around, saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following them, the one who had leaned back on his breast at supper and was like, "Who is it, yo?" And Jesus, like, it's this guy. And Peter, seeing him, said, "What about this man?" And Jesus said, "If I want him to live until I come back, what is that to you? Follow me." This saying went out among the brethren that this guy, this disciple, would not die until, wait, this saying therefore went out among the brethren that this disciple would not die. But Jesus didn't say that. See what I'm saying? They just say whatever. Although Jesus did not say that he would not die, but he's like, what if I wanted that? Then this disciple who bears witness of these things and wrote these things, and we know that his witness is true because we said it. And there are so many other things Jesus did, which, if they were written, I suppose that even the world itself would not contain the books that were written. Yeah, but probably not. Anyway, and Jesus Wellness Clinic went around a lot of places. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Okay, I suppose I'll make this announcement now. Tomorrow is my big phone call. Because remember, I was supposed to get my teeth taken out today. No, tomorrow's my big phone call. On the 20th, I'm getting my bottom teeth removed. Um, so I wasn't gonna go live for like a week or two. Um, so I was just gonna take a break for like a week or two. And we just finished the story of Jesus. Shit. Hold on. Okay. Hi, Neil. How are you? I hope so. Because I am really worried about if I have to get off here for like a week. Would you guys even be waiting for me? Because I know some live streamers, when they have to step away from for a little bit, people quit watching them. So, Neil, what are you doing? How'd you get 3 jobs, Ricky? It's Neil number 2, by the way. That was my guess, Neil. It's Neil 2. I thought it was Neil 2 also. I just figure it was Neil 2 by him asking which Neil it is. I was like, oh, isn't that a drunk Neil? Close to drunk. I don't even think this live stream will be up or on long enough for him to get to Neil 3 because I gotta get off here soon because I got that big phone call tomorrow. You know what I was just thinking about? If I wouldn't have stopped in the middle of David to do the story of Jesus, we would be almost through with the Old Testament right now. But I like the fact that it's taking so long because I love reading the Bible. I don't. I'm sorry, but it's so fun for me, especially the Old Testament. The Old Testament is super fun to me, which I can tell you for the past 5 years, my family won't even talk to me about Das Bible. Yeah. Look, can I tell you guys something? I'm really afraid because it's Social Security and I've been, well, you guys know, like I try to get money for my raccoon food or whatever. And I'm wondering if that they're not going to count that as income when it's like literally $20 when anybody feels really bad for my raccoons. Like, I don't want them to think that that's a paycheck because it's not. No, I'm telling you everything, Productions. You're part of my little family here at the party pen. So I tell you guys everything. People are afraid of the Bible because of all the old English that's in the Bible. People don't want to read that. They don't want to read the old English because it's too hard. It's too difficult. I don't know what thus and thy and thou. I don't know what that means. I'm not reading that. It's pagan. The Old Testament is the Bible, is the devil. Yeah, the Old Testament is pagan. I think the New Testament is more pagan, but whatever. No, that's not exactly true. The New Testament is not very pagan. I don't remember. It's not pagan that I want to call the New Testament. It's something else because it's a bunch of fucking lies and bullshit. See, I hate the New Testament. I don't ever want to read that fucking book again. It pretend. That's the word. The New Testament is pretend. What am I scared of? The dark in my basement. Look, you know what? I don't like other people doing poops in my house. I hate when other people take poops in my bathroom. It bothers the shit out of me, and I have no idea why. Like when Henry was here, that was my biggest problem. Him getting up and pooping in my bathroom. Like it's a toilet. I get it. That's what toilets are for, but it's like, poop at somebody else's house. I don't know. That's just me, though. Yes. Yeah. That's that's me. Also, Neil. Mentally confused and prone to wandering. Yep. I think the thing running my brain and my head is a raccoon. It's a wild raccoon with rabies. That's what runs my mind. Okay. So, what are you guys drinking and smoking? I forgot to ask that. I'm smoking cigarettes and I was drinking milk. I should probably drink some more milk. All right. Are we ready to uh what are we ready to do, guys? What are we ready to do? I'm ready to get some milk. Ooh, water sounds good too. But don't mix milk and water because that's kind of gross. Well, what if I drink water before the milk, asking for an upset stomach? Well, what about water and then milk? Better pee in between there. I don't know. Something's happening. What is happening? Okay. Well, then why don't we, I don't know, pray real quick and hit the outro? What do you think? Yay, nay, nay, yay. Yay, yay, yay. All right, let's do it. Who are we praying for? Debs, Neil, Wheels, Miss Muddy. Hold on. Wizard, Neil, Deb, Muddy, Feather, Firefly, Ricky, the Freaks, and every other Freaks. Guessing his mom. Okay, I think I know everybody. Okay, let's do this thing. Okay. All right. I was told to quit making jokes when I pray. So, no, now listen. Nobody can take my sense of humor because I don't even know how to stop it. So, nobody can take that away from me because I don't know any other way to be. So, we're just going to do it.
Hello. Haha. Yeah. Okay. Hey, God. Hey, big guy. It's me. It's Nikki. Huh. Actually, it's God. It's me and God voice. Hi. No, I'm not really God. I just made that up. Anyway, big guy, I gotta tell you something. Okay. There are a lot of things we need to pray for. We need to pray for Deb's breathing. Neil, because Drunken Wizard keeps saying pray for Neil. And then we got to pray for Drunken Wizard and his poor pecker. We got to pray for Ricky and his new job. Then for the freaks, all three of them, the big freak, the medium freak, and the small freak, you know, yeah, we got to pray for them, but they're okay, right? Yeah. Then we got to got to pray for Miss Mud Duck because they just had a lot of rain. Oh, and she found baby raccoons. I don't know if she could feed them or not, but they were so small and they were so cute. They were the cutest. Yeah. Let's pray for those raccoons. Yeah. And then who else was there? Firefly. Pray that she stays as pretty as her profile picture. And then Feather. Yeah, we'll pray for her too because she's real pretty. Yeah, she's a pretty lady. Mm. Neil, what are we praying for you for? Wait, Neil, what did you need to pray for? Wait, what did what did Neil need prayed for? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. And if anybody else is here and needs some praying time too, does anybody need anything? Ricky, what about you? But really, we need to pray for the freaks. Those are my three kids. And we got to pray that their jobs go well, that Supersonic graduates school this year, and uh, yeah, that's it. The boys need to keep their jobs, and the girl needs to graduate high school. She'd be the only one of my kids that did. My boys got GEDs or close to that, I think. I'm not even sure, but I know we need to pray for the freaks. Yeah. Well, God. Yeah. Fill that empty hole in Neil's soul. Fill the empty hole in Neil's soul. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. How do we word that in prayer? Okay. Wait. Yeah. Well, we did pray for that. You'll get a job. Yeah. Hmm. How do we word that? Big guy, think I know how to word it. Hold on. Ricky needs help getting his life back on track. Well, I mean, it was on track. As far as I know, it was on track. But maybe he needs a little more track, you know? Like, just kind of uncurve it a little bit so he can kind of Donkey Kong jump onto it, you know? Like, he's like this way, but he can jump, you know? Yeah. Give him the power to fly. Fly over the chasm onto the other track. Yeah. It'd be like a Donkey Kong jump. Only you have to hit jump twice. Like XX, XXO. You know? So it's really fast. Yeah. He kinda like my kids. They need to get on track. It's a good track, you know? Yeah, maybe I don't know. But I'd like to think I did know. I don't know. God doesn't know everything. Look, I was thinking one time because when we get further in the Old Testament, God writes these things that is all eyeballs. He writes piggyback on it. Like there's four of them. Two go this way and two go this way. And God's writing piggyback on it. And I always wondered if those things are the eyeballs, is God shaped like an ear? Like his head is an ear and he's only got a right arm. So I don't even know. I don't even know. But I have a fun time imagining God as a giant ear. Could you imagine? I mean, I don't want to imagine God as an ear with only a right arm because that just seems really weird. But if he's got machines made of all eyes, and the eyes are the soul, right? And God rides piggyback on the souls. So wouldn't he have to be a giant ear? Or maybe he's like two ears, like a butterfly, only the wings are the ears. I can't even take life. God is not a giant ear. Oh my God. I'd be so surprised if he was, though. Yeah. I'm just poking fun. But, but, okay, wait. Uh,
Okay. All right. So now I want to tell everybody good night. Hold on. Here's endless. What if? I thought about that too. But maybe his resting bitch face is just an ear. Like when God just is bored, he's just an ear. Just a simple ear. I mean, I'm mostly just kidding. But I need to quit talking. So I want to tell you all good night. And I love you. Bone crushing hugs, Neil. I love them. They're my favorite. So, good night, Ricky. Good night, everybody. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe because we get to go back to the Old Testament. Oh, yeah, it's my favorite. I cannot wait. Oh my God. I'm never taking a break out of the Old Testament again until never. I hope to never leave the Old Testament ever again. So, anyway, like and subscribe and come back for more fun. It'll be amazing. But until next time, I love y'all. Good night. I'm hitting the outro.